Hello, hello. What is up, everybody? That was some new intro music that I wasn't expecting. That was pretty lit. I liked it. So whoever chose that intro music did a great job. But yeah, what is up, everybody? And happy Tuesday. We are here for another Decentraland Builder stream with Sandstorm, and we have with us Pablo and Eibriel, the co-founders of Golfcraft in Decentraland. So I think I have Ariel here in game with us. I think Pablo's running. There he is. So if anybody wants to hop in game with us as we go through this and maybe try out some Golfcraft for yourself, actually we can drop the link in case Slaterade doesn't already have it. But so yeah, we have two new people with us today that have not been on before. Although I think Pablo, you did tune in for our stream last week. Is that right? I think I saw you on there. One of you, somebody from Golfcraft was on last week.
Yes, I was in the audience.
What did you think of that stream? I think that was for one of our judging events.
Yes, it's cool. I was curious. I also saw your short video before about Golfcraft, which was really good, synthesizing the information. And it's cool what you do promoting the creativity on the metaverse. So it's super cool.
You heard it here first. We are Golfcraft approved for the content we are putting out. But Pablo, want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved in Decentraland?
Well, okay. Well, I am a programmer. I have some years of experience, more than a decade, uh, more than 10 years. I was working as a JavaScript engineer, let's say, and someday I just discovered Decentraland, and I don't know, I was really interested on the building and creating part. And then I started working in spare hours in own projects, or small projects. And at the end, finally, I just went full time to build Golfcraft with Eibriel. That's more or less a summary.
Well, yeah, and we will get into some of the things that y'all have done prior to Golfcraft, but Golfcraft has really blown up, and I think what a lot of people consider a short period of time. It almost came out of nowhere, but as a success story, you know. But I guess before we get into all of the backstory and into a little bit more of Golfcraft, Ariel, want to introduce yourself and how you got into Decentraland as well?
Hi, sure. My name is Eibriel, and I was working on the TV and animation industry. In the technical side, I'm also a developer. And during the pandemic, I saw the opportunity to jump to the game development, and I started researching Decentraland. I found it really interesting, and I fell in love with it, and I started participating in the game jams, and that's how I meet Pablo, and we just started working together in these crazy ideas.
I don't even know what I'm in right now, but I really like it. It reminds me of Tony Hawk. I don't know if you ever played Skate Pro, the like PlayStation game. This reminds me of an awesome Tony Hawk scene that you guys have going on, and I love. I think since the last time we covered Golfcraft, it looked like there were a bunch of new things that y'all have added, which I will get into some questions for that. But I mean, both of you are full time on Golfcraft right now. Is that correct?
Yes,
Yes,
correct.
exactly.
We
I
and some more people also.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure you have quite a team to sustain something
Well,
like this.
two more designers.
Two other designers.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, before we get a little bit too into it, I do want to remind everybody that we have the Sandstorm competition, builder competition 6 results this time next week, which Eibriel and Pablo will both be joining us as judges for that. So that'll be exciting. Reminds me, I do need to set up that group chat, slipped my mind. And then contest number 7 is live. So over under the view builds on the Sandstorm site, you can see our contest number 7. This is the movie marathon. So $5,000 cash prize. And we are back to smaller build sizes, just 1 parcel, scene limitations for your builds. And you are going to recreate your favorite scene from a movie or a scene from your favorite movie. And there were some questions about this that came in the chat. I see Juke, you're on. What's up? How's it going? I think this is actually a question that you asked, but it was about copyright. And of course, I think the example I used was like Superman. So if you're creating, some Marvel character or something like that, you're going to want to leave out those logos, but you can make it, resemble that person. Kind of like how the Simpsons and Family Guy are able to incorporate all of these other shows and characters in. You have some of that creative liberty. So as long as you aren't 100% ripping off copyrighted elements, you should be pretty good in recreating your scene for submission. So yeah, take your favorite scene and then put your own little take or spin on it. And we will go through this closes next Friday at 11:59 p.m. UTC. So I hope that clears everything up regarding that. If anybody does have specific copyright issues, we'll if you have a question about it, then maybe just don't use it. But if you still aren't certain, let us know, and we can provide our opinion on that. But yeah, outside of that, I think we can get into the stream with Golfcraft. Unless, I guess, just out of curiosity, guys, what do you think of the next competition that we have lined up, the movie marathon? What are your thoughts there?
I love the idea. I love movies, and the idea of recreating a scene is really great.
Yeah, I was thinking on Eibriel because I know he would like.
He's a movie buff.
Yeah.
Even like the scene from Gladiator, walking through the valley, I don't know, something like that. Could be there's a lot of really cool scenes that I feel like could be done out there. But yeah, so if anybody has any other questions, let us know. And Cynthia Gabriel, I see you in chat along with CXCO. I don't think I've seen you in here before, but what is up and welcome to the stream. We are just getting started with Golfcraft here. So we'll hop back to Decentraland, and I do want to ask, because this is a question that I have had, I think, every time I've been in Golfcraft. How do I exit? So I see the clock is going up, right? But how, for example, if I was streaming and wanted to now pop out of this scene, how would I do that?
Okay, I'm going to explain you. The thing is that you have entered in a special event that is for testing right now. This is a game mode where you have to collect some shiny spheres as fast as possible. The thing also in this game mode is that you can see also other players, but maybe you are not in the same server because we have several servers, one in the USA, another in Europe. But if someone joins your server, you will see other players, and you can hit their balls.
Oh, you can hit their balls?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's kind of like competitive to an extent.
Yes. So you can try to do your best time here, but if you have a good time, you can then annoy two others.
I like that, and I'm assuming at the rate I'm currently going, I'm not going to get the best time that you've ever had on this course. Is that a good assumption?
Yeah, and well, there is not an exit button. That's the answer of the question.
Okay,
Unless
got it.
you complete the level, you have to
So
collect all the spheres.
how many are there?
I don't know, maybe 10.
Like, yeah.
Okay. Well, while we do some more conversation about this, I'm gonna try to get these 10. But so you said this is a new game mode, right? So outside of, I guess, the multiplayer functionality, what is different about what you have going on here?
Well, the difference is that you play together with other people, but the goal of this mode for now is just for testing the multiplayer. We have achieved something that it seems quite smooth to play, even if you have some lag. This is just a testing scene, but we want to introduce new game modes. I don't know. We have been talking about crazy ideas like soccer, football. Yeah, I don't know. Parkour, golf parkour, and new game modes where you have more multiplayer interaction because until now you play like solo. You know,
I
I think
think, yeah, what you just said about oh, come on, I cannot get this one. I'm like kind of zoned in and trying to, I might just have to do a refresh here. As you can tell, I'm not too experienced on this, but I do think just being able to like play a putt golf round with your buddy next to you, instead of, you know, just having those competitive leaderboards, I think is really cool. Like if you and I can hop in and go play a round of putt together would be pretty cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, so this is your test environment then, right? And this is where you're testing everything out.
well, it's not really a test environment. It's just I don't know, an special event we do to test stuff.
Yeah,
But
we deploy stuff sometimes that is not totally complete, so we can gather feedback from the players. And we thought that this was fun to share with our players.
this
Here are, yes.
no, sorry. That this game mode will be running for 1 hour after this show until 20 UTC, and then after that it will be gone.
Okay, got it. So it almost like I know sometimes, and I think you had mentioned this when we had briefly talked before this call, but like the Wonder Zone at one point had turned their place into that like fishing arena, and it was a competition that's only available for, you know, a weekend or something. So
Yeah,
that's kind of what you guys are doing here.
exactly. More or less that. But people can play for a couple of hours since now.
And
From now on. Yeah.
oh, come on. I swear I thought I had that one. Well,
Only two more.
only
This
two
one,
more?
and that is the last one.
This is the last one. Oh, and I set myself up pretty good for that. Look at that.
No, not the last one. Another more.
Oh, you lied to me.
Yeah,
Okay, last one here, and then we'll pop back out because I do want to talk. Oh, how do I go? Oops. So if I accidentally already clicked the button, but now I want to go back to rotate, how do I? Oh, EF.
Yes, you have the
Yeah,
instructions on the bottom right, but you have to focus the screen. To first click on.
I'll just do something really small. This will be.
I don't know. I don't see your keyboard.
It's 1 second. Okay, we're making our way there.
uh,
Woo! Woo! Yeah. 10 minutes, one per minute. Awesome. I'm sure I performed quite highly. But yeah, so you said that that's just a competition that's currently running, but obviously there's a lot to Golfcraft. So I don't know if you or Abriel wants to take this question, but I guess do you just want to like break down the main components of Golfcraft and how it works, what people can win, and the different things that they can participate in or even sponsor?
Yeah. We set up the game to have to support different types of players. We want players that want to really master the golf, the mini golf game, and be really good at playing the game. But we also have the option to create their own levels with a course editor, and we have crafting mechanics where using materials you can create the parts to build these courses. So players can play to gather materials, and other players maybe only want to create levels so they can exchange the materials exactly there. And other players can host these levels on something we call the Golf Land, and that is a special NFT that allows players to host the levels and win or gather materials passively will other players play in this land. So we have like three types of players: the golf golf players, designers, and promoters that want to win materials passively.
Yeah,
And Pablo,
organizing.
you want to? Yeah,
Yeah, for organizing a tournament, you also get
exactly,
rewards.
Okay,
exactly.
got it. And yeah, this is really cool. I haven't been back here in a while, but this is awesome. I love how you guys are continuing to add components because, you know, first it was just like getting tickets for something and then getting materials to craft into certain wearables, and now you can build these courses and now you can host these tournaments. So I actually have not tried to make a course, but I'm assuming the create new golf course button would be the correct one.
Yes, go ahead. Go
So,
ahead.
so anybody who wants in the crafting section up top, you can go to the left and click create a new course. And then, yeah, I guess, would you just want to briefly walk me through a course creation? Or I don't know, like it might be easier if you share your screen and try to create a course instead
Well,
of me trying to fumble my way through it.
I can tell you we test our usability. Uh, for example, you can select the different parts. You can click on them. Yes, exactly. Now you have select one part. Well, on the bottom, you see the four modes or the four actions. You see 1, camera; 2, edit;
Yes.
3, save. Yeah. Okay.
Ah.
And with now you are in the camera mode. With with E and F, you can go up and down. Okay.
Oh, oh.
Yeah. Now you are moving. But now, if you return to the camera mode, pressing the 1
Okay.
with E and F, you move the camera up and down. And with the 3, you can change the shape. And there you have different shapes.
Okay. And so I see this is desert temple themed right now, but obviously this isn't the only theme that you guys had. I mean, I don't know if you've had many others, but there was at least just the basic golf turf looking stuff. So are these the only materials that are currently available for people to use to build, or do I unlock different kinds of materials as I unlock other things?
For now, you just need materials for these parts, but of course, we are preparing new collections. And
this is the collection, and we will release in other collections in the future. Yeah.
Got it. This is really cool. So was this always the editor that was available, or was there a different editor for people to create courses before?
There was no editor before. Before we used Blender directly with a special add-on we made for Blender to create the courses and export them to our database. But our goal was always to allow people to create, and we thought that the best way is to make the editor directly in Decentraland. We don't want people to go to Blender or another tool. We try to keep everything in Decentraland.
That's really cool. Like a lot of the stuff that we go over on Sandstorm streams is Blender or SDK, but obviously there's the DCL builder. So this is reminding me a lot of the DCL builder right now, except it feels like I can build a scene live. Like there are people running around. This is kind of crazy. So once I build a scene here, how would I export this? I see that there's a save, but how would I allow other people to play this course?
do you want to explain, Eibriel?
Explain you.
Okay. So, well, to save this map, you can set a name for the golf course, and then click on save. Yeah, but if you want, you can just click exit.
Like test course, okay, and we can save it
and exit, and now exit. Okay. Well, on your back, you see. I don't know how to say
the land NFT.
Yes.
It stand with the
Yes, exactly. So we have these NFTs so that other players can play your map. So that's the summary. But the workflow is you design the map and then you validate your own map. So you have to play your own map and put the ball on the hole. If you cannot do that, that map cannot be played. Okay, so
that makes
that's
sense.
a kind of validation. And then after that, you can publish your map, but it will require you to have the NFT parts.
Which is this right here.
Well, this is the complete land. This is like the container.
But do I have to? So I would have to own one of these NFTs in order to publish?
Yes, but also you need each part as an NFT because you can craft different parts. The parts that were shown in the menu when you change a shape. In fact, here you have a machine on your left. Click on your left. Look at your left. Yeah. Do you have this table there?
Yes.
Yes. Exactly. There you can craft the different parts of your golf course, and this will be NFTs also. You can the materials are NFTs, the parts are NFTs, and the golf land are NFTs that can contain these NFTs.
Okay.
So if you design a course that needs 4 floors, for example, and 1 ramp, you need to craft 4 floors and 1 ramp to deploy the course.
Yeah, got it. So everything is off chain, basically. You don't have, or sorry, everything is on chain. I was thinking that those assets we were building with were assets that I could have an unlimited amount to play with, and those were just in-game assets. But you're saying that everything is an NFT, which is really interesting.
Yeah,
exactly.
So would somebody be able to like if I have I don't know, say I have 5 of these ramps and I want to build 2 courses. Can I use 5 ramps in a bunch of different courses, or do I need 5 more for the next course, or could I demolish my initial course and regain those materials and rebuild a new course?
No, each golf course is like a container, and you drop the parts there.
Okay, so I would have to pull the part out of that container to put it into another container.
Yes, and
Yeah.
right now it's not possible to remove parts. Although the smart contracts allows it, but we don't have yet
Implemented it.
in game. Okay, so we have in mind that maybe you can remove the part, or we have to polish this feature. But once you move a part in a golf land, for now it will be there forever. For now,
Got
but we have in mind that you may want to move a part from one land to other.
This is like to me it's crazy just seeing all of the functionality that can be put into a Decentraland scene right now. So I'm just wondering like what is your so how many parcels is this first off? This is like
12.
12.
12. And what are you do you guys know if you're like maxing out your megabytes right now? Like are you right there at the edge, or you know every time you want to do something new, I feel like there's got to be something you've got to replace, right?
The size in megabytes, I think we are okay. But the issue is, as always, the materials and the textures. We are maxing out in materials and textures. Thankfully, the scene loads, even when we surpass the max limits, but it's something that is really hard to find the balance about how to create the different 3D models so they can share the material. For example, all the building is now one single file, 3D file. Before it was several different 3D files, but we merged it together. And we are always looking for ways to make it simpler.
Yeah, more efficient, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you guys have done a really awesome job here. And I know, at least Pablo, I know you were talking earlier about some other games that you had worked on. We've got these YouTube videos up here, kind of steps that. So I've got a grant that I'm currently working on, and we're working on a gamified educational experience. And so I've been learning a lot just in terms of what it takes to put together a game where you know you can store this information and these people can interact and collect materials and exchange things. So it's a kind of you know just really interesting what I've been learning and kind of getting into the details about it all. But you know, I think I mentioned this earlier when Golfcraft came up for the first time, it was almost like instantly successful. You know, like there weren't really any bugs, there wasn't really any issues. It was just you know an awesome thing that people immediately wanted to play, and I feel like that doesn't you know happen with groups making their first Decentraland game. But you guys have participated in game jams and done other game developments before. So I'd like to go over to the Mana Fever video and hear a little bit about you designing that and how long ago that was designed.
Well, this was my first game in the Decentraland. I made with Ion in a game jam. Game jam are, I don't know, it's a good way to learn, to see other people work, and I don't know, I, I enjoy a lot participating in game jam. And this was the first one. I didn't want to make something really difficult, just something, I don't know, fun. And here you have to collect coins and shoot monsters or avoid them, and that's it.
And it like it It seems so simple, I guess, from a design standpoint. Like there's
Yeah.
only a couple of assets in here, but the way that you've set it up as a game, makes it seem, I don't know, to me, pretty complex. I feel like I really like this game though. So when did this come out?
3 years ago, I think.
3 years ago. So you've had 3 years of Decentraland building time to get from, this first game jam to where you are now with Golfcraft.
Yes, exactly.
And
Well,
then
we are still learning, and in this world, you never stop learning.
oh yeah, no, I mean it's a literal impossibility to stop learning here. But I guess that would take us to your next one, which was the sandwich game.
Mhm.
And I've never gotten to play the sandwich game, but this is a multiplayer one as well. So do you want to talk a little bit about this, or what made this a different game from the Mana Fever?
Well, this game introduced multiplayer. The first game was just a solo player. With this game, I used Coliseus, which is a framework for multiplayer games. It's really cool. It's open source, and well, I wanted to make a funny game. None of these games still have NFTs. Nothing about NFTs. Just something funny that you can play on Decentraland. Right now, the server is down, but I want to recover it soon. Maybe we'll do an event. I don't know if this weekend or the next weekend, but
Yeah, if you do maybe we would have to cover something like that. If you do a sandwich game event, I will promise to participate in that.
okay.
And then you had Pirate Shower and Wonder Pirate Fever.
Yeah, Pirate Shower was my project. This is a multiplayer game also. Here I learned that players really want to create and build stuff, because I made a game and everyone ignored all the rules of the game and just kept building stuff and reading in the walls. Was already really fun. People trying to build the tallest tower.
Is this live?
No, it's not live right now.
This is really cool too.
I think we should make a revival of all these games.
Yeah.
I don't know, one
Yeah.
week of all games.
Yeah, when was this? This would be so fun. I would totally play this, like teams competing against each other for that.
Yeah, it was really fun. Yeah, yes.
That is really.
Yeah.
And this was 2020, so this was 2 years ago, almost on the dot.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And then there was the Wonder Pirate Fever.
Yeah, that is the first time we worked together for a game jam. And this is a really large game, really complex game where we tested like the limits of Decentraland to work in with physics and multiplayer. Was really good.
This is the one. So I did play this one. I played this one multiple times, actually. I remember when you guys were first testing this, and I was telling Pablo, you mentioned the physics, and the first time I was on the boat, we were going really fast, and we turned, and my avatar just like flew in the other direction from the boat. Yeah. So I'm curious. We haven't, with our Sandstorm streams, we haven't talked much about physics because they're kind of built into Decentraland. But obviously with a game like this, and now we're featuring Sandstorm. Go check out Sandstorm. But with a game like this, could you talk a little bit about having to work with your own physics and how you built your own physics into the game?
Well, we used a physics engine, which is called Canon. I thought, well, there are several examples. I sent some links to you. I don't know if someone will share. But well, we are using a physics engine that also other projects are using in Decentraland, and there are some examples if people want to learn.
And that was called, so I see, I've got the link here for Coliseus, which is, oh, I just brought the wrong thing over. I've got the link here for Coliseus, and this was the multiplayer server that you guys leverage for your multiplayer experiences. And I've heard this thrown around by a lot of people in Decentraland, and this might be what I end up using as well. I'm not sure. I have Golfcraft handling all of that, so I'm assuming they are going to tell me which one I need to use. But then the link for, you said Canon, I believe that's going to be this one here. Oh, so it's just a straight up GitHub repository. That's okay. So this is just open source code that anybody can use.
Yes, well, here, this is the physics library repository, but in the awesome Decentraland repository, I think there are examples using Canon in Decentraland.
Got it. And we've gone over the awesome repository on this stream multiple times before.
I think maybe, I don't know, if you look for Canon with, or maybe I'm wrong, sorry if I'm wrong, but I know there are several examples around.
But so I guess why
you have the punch bag, inflatable punch bag.
So like, why would you need to use your own physics in the show that we just, or in this game right here? Like, why was it necessary to use your own physics instead of using the physics that were inherent to Decentraland? Because like, I can hop on the subway thing, right, and my character moves with that subway as it moves. So I guess why couldn't you just apply that to the boat?
Well, because the boat has the physics, and well, the transit system, it goes through a path. But in this game, the boat, I don't know, it has inertia and can go anywhere, you know.
Got it. So if you had taken this boat, for example, like if you, and we've shown this before on stream, but that pyramid game where you hop in the Jeep and you shoot the monkeys, the Jeep goes on a single path up the temple. And so for that, since the car is following a path, you're still able to shoot around it, but you aren't able to actually navigate that Jeep itself. But in this case, you have full control over the boat, so you needed to use your own physics.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In this game, one player was driving the boat, other player was shooting. Also, the arrows had some physics, and
the arrows took me a little bit to get down. I was on turret duty for my first round, I think.
Yeah.
Something cool about physics is that they are just fun. It's fun to drive a car with physics. It's fun to drive a boat with physics. Yeah, and it's fun to shoot a ball. I don't know, there is something with it that is really nice. It feels much better to have on the physics, the dynamics, than just an animation, a fixed animation.
Yeah. If you're gonna do something right, do it yourself. You know, make your own physics and make it awesome. I think this is sweet. Is there anything? So I'm kind of noticing a progression of things from Mana Fever up to here, where you had your Mana Fever was just basic game mechanics, single player, collect something, and you can shoot. And then the other one, you introduced the multiplayer servers and the multiplayer component, but the game itself was two-dimensional in a three-dimensional world, which is interesting. And then with Pirate Shower, you're taking the three-dimensional multiplayer component, and then you are taking both of those and adding physics. So it's like you're adding some new awesome game component to each of these. So what, if anything, is the new component that you've added for Golfcraft that takes things to another level?
NFTs, I think. Not everyone.
Yeah. The integration with the blockchain. We have a really complex set of contracts working behind.
Because
Golfcraft.
we have the Golfcraft are NFTs, the parts are NFTs, the material are NFTs, the golf courses are NFTs, and I don't know
the
if
golf clubs,
The golf
the
club.
wearables.
So
the wearables also, of course.
So you guys are saying that each one of those is operating on its own smart contract?
Yes. Each has a different smart contract. You can look in OpenSea, for example. In OpenSea, if you write Golfcraft, you will see one collection for each kind of item.
And did you guys have to do that from a game perspective, or for let me see, I can probably just pull up an OpenSea as an example, because I'm just going to use Decentraland Games as an example right now because they have everything under one collection. But well, I guess they have two collections now, but they publish these different tiers and these different wearables all under the same collection. So was there a reason that you specifically needed to separate your collections?
The main reason is to allow the crafting. If we have the materials in one contract and the parts in another contract, it's easier to create the crafting mechanics. There is one contract that allows to combine elements, and for example, you have a recipe, a crafting recipe. You need wood and stone, 2 wood and 1 stone to create a ramp. And this smart contract takes the stone and the wood and mints automatically a ramp element. And to create that mechanic, it was easier with different contracts.
I guess it makes sense if you look at it almost like a balance sheet, and you've got your credits and debits, and like you can't exchange stuff within the same account. If something goes out, something's got to come in from somewhere. So you're just kind of handling that through multiple contracts.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there is, sorry, Eibriel, maybe we were going to say the same. Go ahead.
No, that some elements are ERC 1155 and other elements are ERC 7. I don't remember the numbers, but are different kind of NFTs.
721.
Exactly.
I'm familiar with my ERC tokens, but yeah, that's cool. And for anybody who isn't aware, there are purposes behind having different ERC tokens. I think the 721. Okay, now I'm gonna mess it up after I just said I know a lot about ERC tokens. But one of them is specific for like a currency. One of them is very good for NFTs that are on chain, and then one of them kind of gives you the ability to have some activities off chain while on chain as well. Is my understanding, which is one of the tokens that is very good for gaming. But that is interesting stuff for people to think about. We've been thinking about doing some sort of game jam for one of the Sandstorm competitions. We've introduced people to code. We've introduced them and got them set up with the SDK and installing everything for Decentraland, being able to deploy a scene, but we haven't actually. And we've shown them how they can leverage code from certain experiences in the awesome repository and bring it into their code. But if we were to do some sort of basic game jam, and I'm thinking, just 2 or 3 components, like maybe an item has to spawn, maybe you have to collect it, and maybe you have to exchange that for something. Like those would be bare minimum requirements. For anybody who's never done that before, where would you recommend they start to get the knowledge to do that themselves? Should they just leverage those components and retweak them from stuff that's already been published, or should they start from scratch and try coding it themselves?
That's a good question. Yeah, the integration with blockchain, there are not many components allowing to someone to just add a library, for example, in any scene and start working on it. There is some examples for some to read the amount of mana in one account, or to send mana from one account to another from a Decentraland scene, to check if someone has an NFT. But some operations are really difficult, like giving an NFT to a player is hard for security reasons. Yeah, I don't know, Pablo, if you have some ideas.
Like I guess to start, like just thinking about mana fever, right? And spawning objects and having it register collecting a coin. You know, where does somebody go to figure out how to do that? Did you just study awesome repo code, or
in as mana fever it is, not to scale mana fever, you mean? So just to make something like mana fever. Moving objects and something simple.
Yeah, and you can register that things have been collected, and you know you can shoot something.
I sent some links. The awesome repository is a good resource always, because you can see other examples, and well, there are also some utility libraries that allows you to, for example, move this object to this other position in this amount of time. No, so there is already utilities made, so you don't have to make it again. So the first is be aware of the resources you already have.
The awesome repository is really good, having examples for example, I want to open a door by clicking, and you can search for something similar there, and you will find it, and you just take the code and tweak a little bit. For example, there are examples for collecting coins. So I think you can recreate a mana fever by taking little snippets of code from each example.
I'm actually as I'm looking at this, for anybody who's on the stream, when we did the Dapcraft Halloween challenge, I'm looking at the mirror puzzle, and you know they might have been the ones that uploaded this here, but it looks very similar. You know, so very leverageable, and you essentially just have to replace the objects themselves at that point, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you could make your own models and replace the 3D models.
Yeah, so definitely do not recreate the wheel for anybody that is on. Oh, and I see we just had Stelson DCL join us as well. They said, "Good afternoon, sirs." Good afternoon, Stelson. I hope you're enjoying Golfcraft and our Decentraland stream. And that does remind me, we are getting towards the top of the hour. So what does Golfcraft have coming up? What should people be looking for, either from new features or functionality standpoint, or from upcoming competitions and events?
Well, about development, what we are focused right now is in the map editor. This week, we have added advanced expressions, which is a new level for the builders. I don't know if you saw something, but we just launched a couple of videos to explain where you can use small JavaScript expressions in your maps. You know, for example, you can have a switch button in the golf map that when you hit with the ball and you want a door to be open, for example. So you can add interactivity to your maps and not only solid parts, you know?
what I find so interesting about that is obviously with Sandstorm, the majority of their user base is from Sandbox, or is Sandbox, and Sandbox has a game maker that people use, and it does come with that kind of functionality. So they make it really easy for people to create their own games and experiences, and I feel like that's what you guys are making here inside of Decentraland is this full blown game maker. So I guess do you plan on ever expanding that beyond Golfcraft? Like, would you be able to take some of those features that you have leveraged here and easily implement those for other games or other people to use?
Well, of course, it's in mind to use this editor for the complete building, for example. But well, for now we are building here. We have to fix things. We have to experiment before going with a board there. Yeah, this is the video where I explain how to use this expression. Also, we want to add new effects, like for example, wind or explosives. That was there were before in the old maps that we were making with Blender. We had explosive, for example, but we don't have those mechanics in the user maps. So we want to add more mechanics, and at the end, we will be using this editor also for specific designed games for what we are going to work on. We want to work on a kind of tutorial where you have to make some missions, especially for the new users, because sometimes the users comes and doesn't know what to do. And
I think I might be able to help you guys out with making some videos like that. I actually, shameless plug for the virtual library. We have launched our course creation for different DCL communities. So I might have to meet with you after this, and free of charge, we are creating courses. So would be happy to do something like that.
yeah, you can learn some JavaScript expressions. It's a point to start also.
Yeah. Shoot, there was okay, I was going to ask probably one last question. You were talking about the exploding boxes, and I gotta ask from a physics standpoint, because like when I'm thinking about an exploding box, I'm thinking the ball would enter a trigger area, and then that would just trigger an animation that would make the box look like it explodes. But if you're using physics that you've built in, then that explosion should move things that are around it, right? So are you guys just using animations to simulate explosions and certain activities like that, or are you building physics into those as well?
It's a combination. We use physics mainly in the ball. So when the ball triggers the explosion, only the ball receives the impulse to fly around. And if we have an object that should show an explosion, it's an animation. We create an animation where the object explodes. So we have an animation and the physics.
Got it. But
physics, most of the times, are vectors of force. It's a force applied to the ball or whatever.
Yeah, in a direction.
So you are, but the main thing is, I guess, the physics are just being applied to the ball, and not things surrounding it. So it wouldn't like blow up your skate park or something like that. That is really cool. I mean, I just got to say again, you guys are doing some really awesome work, or you and your team are doing some awesome work here, and I think it's really, really cool. The builder mechanics that you're putting in that other people can leverage, and I think it shows people that there's I mean, just from that Mana Fever game to where you're at now with this game, the just amount of development that has actually happened over the past year or two, because I'm sure not all these solutions were so intuitive the first time you thought about it. But yeah, just any closing statements from you guys, Pablo? Anything you want to shout out, or yeah, any closing words?
Well, is that I'm so grateful that you invited us. And well, we want to keep building. We also want to release another feature that will be seasons with different classifications where the player can scale, for example, from silver to gold to diamond. And but the thing is that Golfcraft is still a game being built. Well, and thanks a lot for inviting us. It's really great that you make at what you do at Sandstorm.
Yeah, it was great having you guys on. Yeah, Eibriel, any last things?
No, thanks for having us, and we invite everyone to try our game. It's a complex game, but I think that we want to keep building and keep adding value to the community and to Decentraland. And everyone is invited, and we're really grateful for our community that is always supporting Golfcraft, creating videos, creating tournaments. Really, thank you to them.
By the way, one last thing. For example, Helping Streaming, which is who is an streamer, is running a tournament right now. Well, a league of 4 weeks. So everyone can participate and win some prizes. Because here also, the community also organize tournaments themselves.
And this is where you would go to access that?
Yes.
Perfect. So anybody interested in hopping into some tournaments, there are currently live tournaments that you can join, and that is on the second floor of the Golfcraft build, 47-44. Go over to tournaments, browse, and then select your tournament. And actually, I guess, which tournament was that's currently live?
I think you had in the chat.
Oops.
In the chat on the Decentraland, Helping Streaming was writing. You see code 5M.
5M68. It was right in front of my face.
Yeah, here it is. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, exactly.
Got it. All right. I will pop this direct link down there as well for anybody. Live tournament. So yeah, go check it out. Golfcraft is awesome. And thanks again, guys, for coming on stream. And I look forward to having you on again next week for the judging.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks everybody. Have a good one.